Yes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome again to this very special broadcast. I am known as Chaos right here. As you know, my friend on the right side, as you could tell, she waving. The beautiful, she need no introduction. She could explain herself. Go ahead. Yes.
Well, it's me, Topaz presents. Today I'm presenting, an explanation. I'm presenting the arguments for or against financial abortion. So I did a debate yesterday, and I'm just here to explain some of the points. And I'll also be explaining it this weekend on our show on For the Record TV.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Excellent. Yes, as you know, Chaos right here. That's the title for today's stream. Wanting a financial abortion, aka, I like to call this. Shout out to raw sex. As you know, most men, even the one that I'm going to play briefly, and we're going to do our own take and breakdown. What I look at it, my views on it. That this has been a discussion now under the so-called manosphere for last year. Now I think about it. One particular gentleman, that had the discussion with Topaz, is very interesting what the man has laid out and present to the so-called men in the group which he resides, and even go as far as I think that he has it on paper. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm trying to push something legislation in regards to this to be a reality for other lawmakers, politicians.
He has a petition. He has a petition that he's asking for people to sign, saying that they want this to be something that is wrote into legislation. Now, I didn't read the petition, so I don't know if he's asking for it to be voted on by the community or if he's asking to bypass that and have it written out already. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is what he wants the reality to be for the foreseeable future.
Okay, I see. I'm just looking at this now. Looking at down. Okay, and I'm looking at Wikipedia for other terminology of child support. But that is the rundown so far. So before we go into this tape, as you know, Topaz, this is not the first time this man has debated a woman in the space. Um, Even including any other woman he comes across or a bunch of men that he presents this to a lot of men, not just black men, but men in general. And a lot of men, especially black men around the space, said they would agree that this is something that's a necessity and we should fight or we should make this a reality. But as you know, Topaz, the average man today, especially the brother, as much as I don't want to say this out my mouth, when I really want to get real shit done, this is a small argument to more of a bigger, larger issue that affects us as a community, as a whole, in America, especially. And the reason why I say this because I don't really, I know that as a man, you out here, you're slinging the dick, you blown chicks' backs out, either with condom or no condom. But you know, most dudes they tell us that they strap up, which okay. But we all know we want that raw, freaky sex when we know we just sitting there and we just blow those chicks back out, see like the smacking sounds.
See, Ken, I feel like they get it. You're doing the most.
But like I said, a lot of men they like to shoot the club, unfortunately, you know, and they feel, you know, I don't want no obligations. What comes after this fuck? I just want to leave it as I gave you the dick and I keep it on my merry way, you know. But we know that's not the case when it comes to contraception and conception. Conception comes in many forms, Topaz. Yes, men can protect themselves all day, every day, especially if they're wearing the condom. But we all know that when they tell us the myth of the 90% effectiveness, what I find out is not really 90%. It's roughly in the 87, 88% range condoms are effective. So you still have that slightly 13% chance of what they call impregnation, possibly, you know? So, like I said, when we engage in sex, this is the reality that this what the outcome will be. This is what it will produce. Whether you're really in control or you're not in control. So to sit there now saying that a man doesn't want nothing to do with her and the child, and he should live off his merry way and go about his life with his money and wherever his direction is in life, and say, you know, just live a happy life, you know. But we all know the history of this country since the 30s, when other groups of men stepped in and had to put legislation, rules now for other groups of men, competing groups of men, particularly non-black men, white men. Because child support, we all know the history. We really want to dig into it since the 30s. This is something that was more predominantly for their group of men. Because we all know the history that happened to black people in slavery and after enslavement, even to him when he's raised his own children or in his own direction, how he takes and grooms his own his family, that we have discovered and known throughout the little books we read that this motherfucker is a bastard baby maker, or a repeated maker. These non-black men, Caucasoid. So what he has done, he has got married, and like everything, if the wife gets too old or he gets tired and he feels he wants something fresh and new, like most gentlemen, he will sit there, pack up, go somewhere else, go find a nice younger female, and create another family. Now, we all know, Topaz, that what happens when a man gets this free range of doing this type of behavior, he leaves unwanted children or children that someone has to fend. And we all know most women on the average, regardless, they get some incentives to help raise the children this man participates in, is not enough for the state to really deal with. Because they know say that when you have a set pool of children running around the place, raised by one child and one parent, it does have some consequence down the line. And they know this, they've done studies this for decades. You're in the field of therapy, psychiatry. You know the effects after a while when children are not being groomed properly in society. They develop certain disorders. Now, if you want to go into it deep, you could explain this more as I'm gonna pull up tape.
Okay, well, and here's my point of view is I wasn't looking at it from, I mean, I think my opponent was mistakenly believing that I was looking at it from the point of view of the women. That's another grown adult. I was looking at it from the point of view of the child because that's who I see that comes into my office. That's what I see as the results of what happens when parents can't get along. Whether there was the talk of an abortion, I see kids whose parents somehow in an argument let it slip that they were about to be aborted, right? Or that there's other kids that would have been born that were aborted, and this doesn't necessarily end well in the mind of the child. No matter what you say, the kid is going to initially believe that their birth wasn't good enough to keep you two together. And so that's all well and fine when you're using that against another adult in an argument because you don't want to be parenting with them. But if a child is getting wind of this information, it is going to damage them. And then that creates a bitter and angry and bent on revenge adult that we all have to deal with in the population. So I just personally feel like none of this is the answer. And so, as adults, once you are old enough to understand the consequences of sex, then you need to be held responsible for that. And I just didn't see how that would, the petition that was being brought up, I didn't see how it was considered to be equal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the funny thing, because I've been hearing about this petition for some time now, and when I hear it for the first time, it sounds good. But then again, I think already in regards to our community, Topaz, that the way how we're moving in society, and especially as race, that could come back and hurt us more. And I'm not talking about the men that are productive, they won't do this, but we gotta look at the mindset of Black people today, Topaz, overall. That let's say a man decides he's with a woman for one night stand, or he's in, I guess, in a relationship, if we want to call it that. All of a sudden, you and her having it good for the first few months, maybe a year. Then, lo and behold, it comes to the man with what we call the pregnancy thing, and shows that I'm pregnant. Now the man has to sit there and looks at her, and you know what the certain men will say on the average, Topaz? Okay, so what are you gonna do? You heard that?
I mean, not towards me, but I've heard the story that happened and I do get it. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not absent a reason. I do understand why that kind of activity happens. But what I'm saying is that that's not the right answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So it goes around, and then sometimes there's either two things a woman's put in position. Once she tells her significant other she's pregnant, but you gonna feel happy and joy, or you're gonna be in very much shock or disappointed. One way or the other, the baby's going to be here. It depending if the woman keeps it. You gave me, Topaz? And on the average, because how society is structured, and this is my view, you could probably back me up, there is an incentive for women today to, keep the baby in America overall. There's a limit, because I heard you said it, and which I'll play in a second, people, that there is incentive for having babies in America. And as we know, America is 8% non-Black. So the people that either having babies or having struggled have babies, the government had to step in and still give some form of incentive to women to keep having these babies. Because they decided to say, we're not going to back you at all. And there is no child support. There's no incentive for you to not only carry this baby to term, but to raise this baby from 0 to roughly 18 or 21 years of age, depending on your state. Most women, on the average, they'll have to make a decision if there was no safety net for this. But the safety net is still here. And we only could talk about what's here now, not what if, as people. You get me? So now I'm going to play the tape for those who listen. Please the stream, share, and if you so kindly say the words, Topaz,
Oh, fair use.
All right.
One more time. One more time.
Okay, fair use.
Thank you.
Better. All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Lady Topaz, you are up. Pull the trigger. Opening statement.
Okay, so from what I understand about financial abortion, this will be a man's ability to make a decision to say, I no longer, there is a child coming, I no longer want to have any financial responsibility for this child. So I have a few questions. One, does that mean that the man is still going to be having visitation? Like, is it still available? Obviously, if he doesn't want the child, he might not, take up on that offer. He may not want to have any visitation with the child. So is he still going to be formulating a relationship, or is he just basically is this a financial thing just to protect his assets, but he still wants to build a bond with the child? He still wants to be involved in the child's life. A second question would be, how soon after the notification of pregnancy does he need to be able to make this decision? Is the child already here, or does the woman still have a chance to have a physical abortion, I guess, if she wanted one? I do have to say that I'm against all of this. I would advocate, in my belief, is that you pick who you want to have a child with initially. And so therefore you do not create a child unless this is somebody that you want to have a child with. I think that's a better option. And I think that given either one of these, options, that is encouraging irresponsibility. It's a safety net, a parachute for people who are deciding that they can just go out and do whatever. So to me, I think equality would. How does she even get it to a child? I do not advocate for sexual, ability, but I do believe that once there is a child formulated and there was nothing that prevented you from being able to make a better choice, such as like force or coercion or, power dynamics, things of that nature, that at that moment, you also have another option available to work with this person, no matter how formidable they may be, because that is part of the consequence of just kind of sleeping with whoever. I do advocate for adults using reason. What do we think is going to happen if the man gets to walk away, right? If women are as bad as you say they are, they might just hand the child over to the government. And then what does that do? That creates that 1984 movie that we all don't want to actually happen, things that we're against. Those of us who make, good decisions with our reasoning skills. That's going to be the first step along the lines to us losing power as individuals. It may seem empowering initially to say, I don't want to have to pay money to raise this child. But if she still has the child, that is still going to be your blood walking around on this planet. That is still going to be somebody that may come look you up. Because even in cases where children were adopted, they still want to know who is the other half of their genetic code. They don't just give up. That doesn't just go away because the adults couldn't get it together. Okay, I do believe that there are better options out there. I believe that this is going to create more of a need for financial abortion and also other types of abortion. I believe that it's going to give people a false sense of security, and I think that pushes us backwards. We aren't making adults have positive logical skills. We're letting adults just do whatever they want to do and say in science, or either the government is going to come save me. That's how we got into this problem in the first place. That's how we have so many people that you don't want to have children with, and that are out here for you to even have the potential to mate with. So in my opinion, this idea about financial abortion, it does not bring equality. It doesn't line up with the other option. If women get rid of a child that you may or may not even know exists, you're speaking for the hearts of the men that actually wanted their children and didn't have a chance to do that. They would not even utilize financial abortion. You're helping a totally different subset of men. You're not addressing the problem that you're saying that you're addressing with this petition. So with that being said, I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's going to get you the answer that you want. I don't find it to be equal. And I'll concede the other 30 seconds.
Okay. All right, brother. 30 seconds. I'll take it.
Okay, before he speaks, Oh damn! Is this sharing? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
This is my video sharing. Wait, hold on. Let me check. Hold on a second. All right. So I pause it. Yeah. So in response to that, Topaz, that you lay out your argument, what will happen potentially? And I have to totally agree that, as much times women have a little easy, they don't really have to carry or keep a baby on the average. Once the baby is here, they could either give it to adoption, give it to a fire station, or whatever. You get me? So I'm thinking that, but in regards to men hold all the responsibility, especially the financial part to what he participate if he, I guess, impregnate a woman and she decided to keep the baby full term. Now, to give pushback, the way how the child support system is going now is very criminal in nature. I don't like it. But I expect it to be criminal for the last couple of decades. I would say for the last almost 50 years. And here's why. Because they have decided, because how this country is going, that it's going to be very much financially, it's going to be a financial strain in the system. Because let's be honest, we're not producing nothing no more in this country. So now they got to extract more resource to the American people. And child support is one of many weapons to extract a lot of funds, particularly on men. Because they know men are going to work. They're going to put money back to the system with their labor, and they're going to die working depending how they live their life, especially work for somebody for decades. That is actually a good deal for the system to take more advantage of men off of child support. Because think about it. What's the average cut a woman gets off of child support? You can name this, Topaz? I'm not sure this is different from every state.
I'm not sure. Isn't it like 17%?
Okay.
Of his gross pay?
I believe, yes. It's not really a lot. I think it's a little bit more, but when I think about how much, because it's always based on income. Are we right? So
yeah,
it takes 7% of a man. Let's say a man makes $40K a year, the average. I'm just dealing with the average now. It's not really a lot, especially if the state, depending on what state you live in, they might take more than 17%. Now, if I want to Google to see if there's a percentage gap, I could do that. I will think about in a second if I'm gonna do that. But nonetheless, the woman at the end of the day doesn't get the whole bulk of anything from child support from a man, depending on his financial income. Now, let's say most women, sisters, are getting knocked up by bums. You hear this rhetoric always in the space, right? So, okay, they're getting knocked up by bums, right? So why don't black women go put these same bums on the system, child support? The excuse I hear is that this man don't got no money. I don't want to see a black man get locked up, all that. I understand you. I feel you, sweetie. I have love for you. But I'm going to tell you right now, some of these Negroes need to be put in the jail. Just to show that, say, you cannot be slinging dick and knocking people and think that you don't have to pay. And this only applies to men.
It would be a deterrent.
And the reason why I'm saying is, as a man, as much as a lot of men don't like this, because let's be honest, the men that's doing what they should be doing and don't have these problems, they'll tell the same woman that they're dealing with that has a child already, say, okay, you go back to your so-called baby daddy that knocked you up, go get him some money from him. Don't come to me. This was the average think of the average man that either has a kid or don't have no kids. But we all know most black women on the average, from what they said, don't put brothers on child support, which we could argue that. But when I know the people that are getting on it, you got to have something for a woman to put you on it. And if this their logic said, I'm not putting him on it because he doesn't work, he has some money, then that's really, to me, when I look at that, I see that's a poor judgment character. But still, you should put him on anyway, so that way you get his shit in order. You get me? Because you cannot be sitting there getting access to pussy and be able to do what you want and don't think you're going to uphold no form of responsibility as a man. Period. And remember, it was designed for derelict non-black men, Caucasian men. Caucasian man was having his fun, leaving his wife and his kids, and moving on to the next set and creating new life. And they other groups of men got to say, hold on. Who's paying for this? We're not paying for this. Oh, we got something for you. You get me? That's why you look at, well, a lot of white men, I'm being honest with you, Topaz, and I'm not sure you ever counsel people that are non-black. Non-black men, on the average, don't have a problem paying child support because they look at it as a burden. Because you know what, man, they get to a point where they say, just if I had to give you the money to leave me the fuck alone, here, take this and go. You get me? But when it comes to the brothers, they say, oh, look at how much money take out of my fucking check. Look at this. I didn't want to pay nothing. Why you want money from me, man? It's some broke mentality. But don't get me wrong, some brothers have paid the money same way and kept pushing, but it only shows if they got money. But if you don't got money like that, chances are, as a brother, if you're able to use your mouthpiece and get into that underwear, you're going to have to suffer the consequence. You know what I'm saying? This is as simple, you know.
Well, and here's the thing. If you can't afford a child support payment, maybe you shouldn't be out there having sex with people that you would potentially get pregnant and don't want to take care of the child. Like, you don't want to work with them. You feel like they're not going to work with you. It's the same thing that they tell the women. And here's the thing. If you're gonna be like, if you're gonna say that men are gonna be the gender that's more responsible, more logical, the gender that should be in charge of everything, the gender that should say the way things should go, then you're gonna have to lead by example. You don't get to say that women are irresponsible and then you go do some irresponsible things. You know, if that's the case, then you're not actually mad at what the women are doing. You're just upset because you don't get to do it. And that, to me, is a very childish thought process. You know, either this is a good thing for us to do, or either it's not a good thing for us to do. It's not okay on either side. It's not cute to have a bunch of men out here with a bunch of different women that they're all tied to, that they have pumped and dumped or either knocked up and left and all of that. That's not cute. That's not attractive. It's not successful, and no man that has any wealth or anything to be worried about protecting moves in that manner. That's how he got the wealth in the first place. So this whole argument about wanting to be able to financially disassociate yourself from a child that you helped, to conceive.
You participate to help create. Because where the hell is she gonna get the sperm from? Now I'm hearing rumor that a lot of women are now in the process freezing their eggs, and they even some dependent on their financial income, because some women do make money and they are in certain institutions that make good money. Some men go as far as they might want to go to a sperm bank. And one question I never asked, because this always came to the back of my head: if a woman goes out her way and gets sperm, gets her fertilized by a sperm bank, does she have to go out and get child support or payments from a man that gave his seed into those institutions? No? Okay.
No, I heard somebody mention something like that about how people are now being sued for child support. But here's the thing. You have to prove that you actually got, like, if he says that he donated to a sperm bank, like, if you don't have a way to say no, but you might have donated to that, but I wasn't one of those customers. I got the sperm from you fair and square in a regular way. Like, I think people do, like, they accuse me of fear mongering, but I think they do a lot of fear mongering over here on their own. It's like, because if you donated to a sperm bank, there is paperwork that each of the mothers has to sign before she's allowed to get the sperm in the first place. Now, what I have heard of that was happening is that the children that were conceived do still want to know who their other half is. So they might find and seek out the parent, but there's no child support that you're going to have to pay. Here's the thing. You were donating money to a sperm. I mean, you were donating sperm, to this place to get paid to do so for money. You're not just out here doing this for the fun of it. You know, like nobody goes, if you didn't need money at that point, no man shows up in a sperm bank that doesn't need the money. Or at least I can't think of a scenario in which a wealthy person is just out there handing out their sperm, you know, to sperm banks for women to use and get pregnant or whatever. You know, either the person needed money or either they were very vain. And I say a person, but you know, I'm gonna stop being peach. I'm gonna stop trying to be so calm about it. Men. These were broke men or either vain men because they felt like they wanted to see somebody else get, like somebody might want their sperm or something. You know, I'm hard pressed to find a scenario in which a guy has anything to lose that would need to worry about what happens to his sperm that goes to the sperm bank afterwards. So
it makes
I don't even know why that was brought up.
You know, it makes you wonder if a man has to go to a sperm bank to get some money, they're probably paying a lot for your juice, your juicy juice. You get me? They must have given like 10 cents a drop or some shit. I mean, it's not much money into busting nothing.
No, I mean, like every time I've seen it talked about on TV, they always making some ridiculously low amount, like $50 a time that you go in or whatever. So I mean, like that's just, I don't know, that's just kind of broke or vain in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of women out there who feel so excited about this that they get to have children and they don't have to, you know. And here's the thing, a woman that goes to a sperm bank has already given up on her idea of having another partner to do this with. Every woman that goes to get, you know, nobody's getting sperm from a sperm bank. Like, let me pick that dude right there because then I know where he is and then I'm going to find him and get child support. That to me, I think is just delusional. That's the delusional part of it. Like, you don't think that people have thought of all of these different avenues and these loopholes. You think you're the first person to come up with this? This is not happening in like big numbers of women that you need to be worried about it. So I'm not sure why he brought that up, but you know, I guess.
Yeah, because like I said, a lot of people, especially men that do that, or a woman that decides that I just want the sperm, nothing to do with the man. It shows how far you're disconnected to people and to the opposite sex. I'm not sure what type of cycle of a term that's used from your studies, but when you get to that point as a woman, me as a man, I look at you side eye and say you're beyond sick. It's something I don't want to be around you. Cause now you're just poison. Cause now so you just take and do anything. It's like your body should be your temple. And if anything, at least you're gonna at least bond with a man before conception happens. But now you see you just want to cut all that. It's scary. And to be honest with you, I could see in the future that's gonna be a reality, a growing reality to a certain set of people, not only in America but globally, slowly. You know, because let's be honest, this society preach and promotes individualism, antisocial behaviors, all of the mental illness that people fall under for the last 20 years is shown right now in reality with the help of technology. But let's continue and hear from this brother's take on the financial portion.
All right. Just whatever she can see, just give it to me. Off top.
Oh, wow.
We can do that.
All right.
We can do that.
Well, me too, I guess. If he can see, just give it to me.
Okay, so that'll be 530 for you. Hold on. 2 seconds, man. Messing up back here, y'all. There's a lot going on back here in the control room. There's a lot going on back here.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And that backdrop that you put up always cracks me up.
Which one? Oh, the one with
The one that's playing. Do not care. Everybody in a society is everybody in a society is.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And that backdrop that you put up always cracks me up.
Which one? Oh, the one with
The one that's playing right now.
Oh, the one with the little African kids. All right.
All right.
5:30 on the clock.
That's happiness, J.I., from looking at babies. And go ahead.
Brother J.I., you are up, sir.
So
Pull the trigger.
I did my best to. I wrote down some of her points. First off, she keeps saying this is not going to get me the outcome that I want. That's false, because the outcome that I want is equality under the law. See, nothing's ever going to be perfect. But what the law is in place for is to make sure that everybody in a society is treated equally by the same rules. What we have now is the law being dangerously slanted towards women, and men have no choice at all.
Hold on, can you pause the chaos?
And now, mind you, Topaz, I'm not sure if this is the first time you heard the playback that I'm playing of you and him, because you did get triggered. But before I let you speak, I just want to add into this that when a man says that it's becoming more dangerous, I always had to think back in my mind as a man myself. Okay, as men, danger should not be too much of a problem because that's sometimes our functioning role in society. We have to deal with danger and overcome danger. We forgot men fought and killed wars, Topaz. If men were thinking that things were dangerous, society would not have been built.
Right.
The environment would not be imposed. So go ahead. I want to add that.
That's very true. And here's the thing. He keeps saying equal under the law. Well, see, this is the thing, right? The reason why women get to come out of the bedroom after you just had sex and she got impregnated or whatever and decide whether or not to get the abortion is because you don't know either way unless she tells you. So, here's the thing. If she was dead set on getting an abortion and not telling you, you wouldn't even know that there was anything that you needed to walk away from. So these are the men for whom the women are saying to them, yes, I'm pregnant. And so if you're asking her, you're now saying, okay, so I want you to get an abortion. Otherwise, I don't want to have nothing to do with the kid, right? Because otherwise, let's just say the other options, they would work it out themselves. They wouldn't need this petition. They wouldn't need abortion. They wouldn't need none of that. Or either if they did, we wouldn't know anything about it anyway. So she's saying to you, I want this baby. So what is it that makes you say that you get to kill a child? See, this is the consequence of raw sex. If you have sex with somebody and you're not using a prophylactic, like what is it? So you're gonna come out with the same lie and say, "Oh, she told me she was on the pill." Why should I believe you? Because y'all don't believe women when they say like the condom broke or either the dude pulled the condom off or whatever. Y'all don't believe us. Y'all say y'all don't care. It's a baby, right? So why should anybody care when this guy says, "But she told me she's on the pill"? So, because from what I believe, like even before abortion was a big, huge, acceptable thing, when teenagers was just getting in trouble for getting somebody pregnant in high school, right? It was at this point, nobody was looking about abortion and all of that. All they were concerned with was, well, why did you believe her? Why didn't you use something anyway? Because I mean, if she's telling you that she's on the pill, what do that have to do with you? If this ain't your wife to where y'all both put her on the pill so that y'all can enjoy that together, then why are you even listening to her? So I just feel like men want the right to be able to make irresponsible choices and then want the government to clean up behind them. And they say that that's because that's what the government does for women. Yeah, because they don't respect women. They expect men to, do something better. They expect you to be an adult. So what I'm hearing is, I'm tired of being an adult. I want to be a kid too. They get to do it. So if you want all of the accolades and praise of being a man and you get all of these other additional perks, this is one L you got to take. You want to have everything? Well, I'm sorry, life ain't like that. And then how about when we as a kid, we heard life ain't fair, right? That's what they want to show up and tell women all of the time. Oh, thanks, Sir Anthony.
All right, let me read some of the comments in the chats. So Anthony writes, has made the best logical argument in this debate. That brother.
And he means Topaz because Taz wasn't in the argument.
Topaz. Okay. Oh, you spelling it. But anyway, only one because so many brothers are in love with the idea of a financial board. Well, I'll be honest with you, Sir Anthony. I'm gonna read the other comments. Brother Prophets, how he runs his channel is how he runs his channel. You as a person that's either a content creator or not, that goes up there in the debates, let known say that you are confronting and facing men of the black man no spear. And where they sit is law and order. And if you pay attention to every debate from a man that's either part of this so-called manosphere or part of the black manosphere or is part of it, when you go clash with them, you should know that by default, you will come out the loser on the average. Even if you have a good opinion or point to the argument and you bring some facts. And that's what I've said. And I'll be honest with you. I'm only telling this person because I watched the channel. And I'm saying personally that some of the people that debate against other people that's in the space have not really won shit. Amir was up there many times. The wins that he got won was some of the men that was put in front of him that most of the black men don't give a fuck about or care about. Even to when he was debating somebody that's in the space and he has an opinion with logic and facts back to it, he has lost. And we're not go down this rabbit hole, but to let people know that this is what you possibly will expect on a debate, especially if this is a space where they call themselves manosphere. I'm not knocking it. It is what it is. You get me? The majority rules and wins. If you're not the majority, 9/10 time, if you go up there with your swords and without no shield, you'll be cut up with these dudes. So let me see what Sir Effie says. The brothers arguing for retribution for the law, correct? But true equality could only come by removing the current advantage that women have to get an abortion. That what Topaz was arguing. You know, I don't know why he called you Taz. He called you Topaz. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Sir Anthony. I know it was probably autocorrect.
Yeah. No, but it's I know. Well, you know, I get you. Don't worry, bro. We get you. We understand. But you know, like I said, Topaz caught it. But let's continue on.
Swung too far the other way. So now it used to be women didn't have a choice. Now men don't have a choice. And it needs to be where both have a choice. Okay, it overcorrected. And that's what happened with Roe v. Wade. Things overcorrected and it put all the power in the women's hands. But that's not equal. It needs to be down the middle. That's what the law is for. So she keeps trying to make these morality arguments. I don't care. Let me just put it out there. I do not care. Everybody's moral compass is different. What one person thinks is right, even under the branch of Christianity, everybody interprets it differently. That's why there's different denominations. Okay, there's different churches that you can go to. So morality is not my concern. Everybody has their own opinion of it, and that even changes as they go through life. So we cannot use this quote unquote morality as any type of authority in this argument. What I'm stating is a simple fact. If two people have sex consensually and the woman gets pregnant, only one person of that party has a choice thereafter, even though the choice made affects both parties. This is unfair by the definition. Okay? If a woman has those types of powers, a man deserves them as well. Now, I just say financial abortion because I don't believe in infringing upon the woman's right to their body. She made the will the man have visitation argument. No, the way I would see it, if the man would just be treated like a sperm donor. So he would have no rights, period. It would be as if the woman got a sperm donor. She said, how soon after notification of pregnancy can he financially abort? Now, bear in mind, I'm going through this question, but bear in mind, these are what I would call operational questions of how this would look. We have to first agree that men deserve to have it. And then we can debate about what it should look like. But we have to first agree that they should have it. But I'm going to answer it from how I would
disagree on that right there, Chaos.
How soon?
All right, let me pause.
All
right. Go ahead.
Okay. Because anytime that we put together like a petition, I'm sorry, I've never been able to present anything and ask for somebody to do an action without having all of the operational definitions already there. You don't get to just say, hey, I want men to be able to walk away from children financially. And then they say either yes or no. And then you start answering. But no, before anybody votes on this, you're going to have to answer these types of questions. So I still don't understand why he acted like that was such an outlandish thing for me to say. I mean, I don't know, Chaos. Have you seen anything that was being brought up in terms of legislation where you get to just say, hey, listen, we're going to vote on this sentence? Just off top, whatever you think it means, say yay or nay, and then I'll explain later. No, people want to know what it is that they're voting for. You can't just have a platform and don't tell anybody what it stands for until it's time, like until after they vote for it. You do have to explain these things.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the Senate and certain bills that's being passed along before somebody signs it. What I've discovered, and I can't say if I know, but I will say this. Some of the bills that is being put out in front of legislation to be signed, that's being written up, are sometimes as big as a textbook. 1,100 to 1,500 pages or more. And something like this, if this was a petition or something that's going to be written so they can put in as law to put through certain House representatives to legislation, it has to be condensed and clear to the people that's going to go through this, because there are, I'm not sure how many people are in the branch of government, judicial, and all stuff that go through this. It's probably by the hundreds and thousands. Everybody has the opportunity to go through it properly. That's why we look at certain bills that's being written now. Sometimes they'll tell them personally, when they look at this big guap of paper, they're going to tell you to go send it back and restructure that. This doesn't happen all the time, but in some cases, if it's too thick for somebody to take time to read, most likely they're not going to read it. Now, something like this could pass around and somebody could look at, see what are the stipulations, what scenarios, what things you want in regards that you feel will be beneficial for you as the male group in the society, that you want to be taken away or somewhat taken away from the female group of the society. They got to come to conclusion that by voting in, they got to look at and say, okay, for this to go through, and I'll go further. Let's say the stimulus. As you know, last year, the stimulus should have been passed before the end of 2020. Why it did? Because there's certain things in writing that the people that's in Democrat, Republican side had to look at, say it has to reach a middle ground where we both could agree and it's in our favor. Something like this that you presenting is only a black, well, I guess he's a black man. I'm not sure he's black, but that's another story. You're posing something that is going to change how we run this society in regards to childbirth and childbearing. That's a big decision. And not only that, I got to make money because now I'm in a capitalist order. So I'm not going to put anything in regards to the women. F the women. I want to know how I get my bottom line with this. Because remember, I'm not stifling women for child support. I'm stifling your Negro butt. Or you as a man. You see how that works, Topaz? But for men of other groups that will make anything and say this is the way that it is, we're signing it. No, but we look at it seems fair. To us, it sounds right. We're going to sign it. Keep pushing. That's how it goes. Because they know.
And I think you bring up a good point because this, a lot of societies are founded on the principle as like if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So they hold the men more responsible for everything than they do women. Yeah. They find it to be immaterial. Like black men with this will get laughed out of any other culture because they're like, what? Why are you even this worried about what women are doing? And people used to bring that argument up, but I guess they got tired. They got tired of saying this. So to me, I just really feel like there's a simpler answer. If you don't like what the women are doing, don't sleep with them. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to sleep with them anyway, you're giving them the option. Mm-hmm. So you can't in one sentence say you want a smaller government and then go ask the government, hey, can I please not have to pay for these kids? Because essentially what you're doing is asking permission to not have to be held financially responsible for something that you chose to do. She didn't rape you. Now, if she raped you, you need to, but let's just be clear about that. Black men would not, they wouldn't tell anybody about that either. So, I'm sorry. This debate was all over the place because that's how I experienced it. I didn't see a very logical thought process laid out that was, understandable and reasonable and was going to yield any type of effective results. Like, it sounds like chaos, like he wants a reason to bring more chaos into the community. So I'm sorry. I just didn't, somewhere around this point, I just didn't care anymore.
Let's listen. That's the whole point, Topaz. You know my name, Chaos Rain. This is what we want. We want chaos. And then eventually I must step in and bring the fucking order back. You get me? How a world gonna function well without no real chaos? People love chaos. They don't talk about it, but when the chaos is here, all you see is screaming, fainting, arguing. You see the whole wham bam shabam. But when men had to step in and say, now I must come in as Big Daddy, Big Brother, and bring back the order. Everybody scramble. They quiet. The world just stops. But let me see. Somebody wrote some in the comment section. She's correct. I say that the idea of financial abortion would not gain any steam. Yes. There are already whole states like Alabama that are trying their best to stop abortion. A momentum is with repealing the current laws. Yes, Sir Anthony, and they're doing it now. I wish I had the article, but we're not doing it on today's stream.
Oh, and Texas.
Yes. Oh, where you at? Oh, yeah. The Lone Star Texas. I don't know if you're the Lone Star RBG type, but yeah. She just made another great point about wanting a smaller government. You're asking the same government for help. And I was surprised you never mentioned that during your debate. But I guess you got caught.
I thought I did.
Huh?
I thought I did probably close to the end when we were just yelling back and forth.
Well, we're not gonna go all far in this tape. I just want to get to a point where maybe y'all start to talk. Maybe I'll stop from there. But let me continue playing.
Okay.
Oh shit, wrong button.
5 months from his being notified. Now we know that there are plenty of men that get notified after a child is already born. Sometimes when that child has had grown up for a couple years. So from whenever a man is made known, he should have 5 months. And if he does not respond, his default position should be that he financially aborted. So there's no mix up or playing in the courts or, we sent you to the wrong address. And no, the default should be financial abortion. I actually think that the man should have to opt into parenthood. Okay? And the only way to do that, because I believe men should have financial abortion even in a marriage. But I'm just going to say, just for sake of argument, 5 months. From being notified, the man has 5 months because women can have abortions up to 5 months and in some places longer. So she said we need to pick who we have children with initially. See, they try to slant all the responsibility to the man, even though the woman has 100% control of whether or not a life comes to be. A man doesn't have any of those controls. The woman does. She controls when a child is born. A woman can force a man to be a father, but a man cannot force a woman to be a mother. You can't do it. Even if they've been married. Married women can get abortions without the consent of their husband because it's their body. And it happens all the time. You can go on the internet, find countless stories. Okay, so this whole choose someone, women get pregnant by guys that they just met. Don't even know his real name. That's just irresponsible. But it's their choice to be that, and that's fine. But we don't need to put that on men. This whole men need to protect themselves argument, as if women don't steal sperm, as if condoms don't break, these things don't happen. There are real stories, and nobody cares about the plight of men. This is what disgusts me so much. She said it would inspire irresponsibility. Let's say that there was a man that went around and just wanted to have sex infinitely and use financial abortion 100 times. Obviously, he should. That's his right. But what you're leaving out of that equation is that means that there's 100 women on the other side that would have to also choose to be irresponsible and have a child with a father that's ill-suited for fatherhood. And that's what you're taking away. They want to take away the woman's choice and her responsibility, when ultimately the bulk of it is on her because it's in her body. So women get to be as irresponsible as they want to be, and they try to paint men as the villains for it. Now, I'm not having it. I don't care about these moral arguments. I don't care about what happens to these kids. He tried to paint a picture like the government would have all these this army of abandoned children to raise up. No, I don't care about any of that. All that is science fiction, and it's not going to happen. All right. The reality of what would happen is it would make women far more responsible when they knew that the burden would solely be on them. They would stop having kids when they know that they can't exploit men for it. All right.
Let me stop it. Now, Mr. J.I. did say something about a man should opt out of parenting. I'm sorry to all men that want to hear this. You cannot opt out once this woman carries that baby to term and carries the baby. Now, you can abandon her and the child. That is your right. This is a free country. You have the option to do that. But regardless, opt out fatherhood, no, player. You can't do that. See, even other great men, especially European men or any men of any stature, ain't gonna let no man just gonna opt out his responsibility. Maybe in Asia, current Asia, they'll do that because the man has more rights, to telling his own age wife if this keep the baby or not. But outside that Eastern world, and we're here in the Western world, no, you're not getting that. You're not gonna get that anytime soon. One thing he just said about women stealing sperm. I like to investigate that. Let me tell you why. You there, Topaz?
Oh. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. The funny thing he mentioned that, and that's very interesting. I'm gonna bring that. Is that for women to really go out way to steal any man's sperm? Only two scenarios come to my mind. One, that's a Swiffer, a dusty chick. Or the other, that chick that really goes our way and really wants your sperm. You gotta be making a lot of money, player, for a woman to go out their way to do that. If you're not a baller, an entertainer, a singer, an actor, so all the above what I'm saying, there's no need for her to sit there for you if you're in that life or that environment around that circles for her to steal your sperm, period. Because there has to be a real incentive for that. And the average American today from women that get child support is less than $500. All across the board. Certain states a little bit more, but the average right now is less than $500 in child support.
Well, I'm glad you're the one saying the chaos because see, here's the thing. Maybe it'll mean more coming from a man. Because see, my viewpoint of this is that I did have I've been raised around men, okay? And so this foreign concept of I want to be like the women, that's just something that growing up, I saw that the dude would get laughed out of the building with that. Like some of these things that the men bring up nowadays. I mean, I'm not all boomers weren't bad. I did happen to see maybe it was just a Southern thing, I did happen to see some boomers that were taking care of business in terms of the men. But what happened was the women didn't want to fall in line, and so they went to somebody that did have control over the men, and that was wrong. So, I mean, all of these different arguments that he's making, I'm trying to figure out how exactly is the woman able to get sperm that you didn't give her? Because even though men want to act like women are drugging them, one chick said that, Cardi B, that's a stripper. What were you even doing with a stripper in the first place, right? What do strippers do? They're there for your money. And if she can get a bigger lick while you're there and having too much fun, I mean, what do you expect? Okay. So men are trying to point this, they're trying to say that, women are drugging them and stealing their sperm like a thief in the night, when the more obvious thing that's happened is the man he loses control of his libido at the time because she's just that extremely fine, and he got to be able to imagine it and then go through with it and then be able to tell all his homeboys. And so then he just goes ahead and signs up and goes along with it. And I did say sign up. So he already opted in to taking care of the child when he was like, man, whatever, and just went on in. That's when he opted in. Okay. So all of this about the man has 5 months to opt in if he wants a kid. No, he opted in way before that. Or at least that's my opinion.
But it goes back to again that this is now I gotta step into a certain delusion of JI argument about all of this. That as much as a lot of men don't want to hear this, we're not women. A lot of burden and the performance is still gonna fall on us, regardless if we can produce or not. And,
right, because y'all are stronger.
It's more stronger. Men really bring order at the end of the day. Regardless, some women said they didn't want all that stuff. I tell most women that talk that strong, independent bullshit. And I did a series on this on another channel, which if you want, Topaz, I'll email it to you and you watch for yourself.
Yes, you could, because see, here's the thing. I've never told anybody that I was all strong and independent. I actually don't believe.
I know this.
I don't believe in that. And like, it doesn't exist. Even when other women say it, it doesn't exist. Now, you did what you needed to do, and you made a way when there might have not been a way, but you're not strong and independent. That's not a thing. Everyone is interdependent. So I mean, I guess his argument was for a different audience, I guess. I don't know.
And let's be honest, the ladies understand. As long as you're getting an incentive from some other man, you're not strong, you're not independent. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the only way that could be a reality is women paying for everything. You get me? You get your money from women.
Right.
Women are in all branches of government pulling real laws and order, building societies.
But even then, they're still dependent on the law and other women to have voted for this and they got influence and power. This is what I'm saying. Nobody is independent. It's not a thing. Stop saying that. The whole point is, like, what I tell everybody is my ultimate goal is for us to understand how to make coexistence work, because you're doing it anyway. You're already coexisting. You're just miserable because you're not getting out of it what you think you should. So, like, that's not a thing for anybody to be like, oh, I'm independent. Even when I hear people that say that they're self-made, yeah, up to a point though. You know, if I wanted to be technical, I don't have to be like a jerk about it. But if I wanted to, I could be like, no, because at some point somebody took a chance on you. I don't like it when I hear celebrities say that. I made all of this money. Yeah, but if nobody bought it, you still would be broke. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like the egos of people are just get out of control. And I'm over it. I'm getting too old to be listening to all of this chaos. I can't.
Listen, individualism breeds arrogance, a very high ego, because this is what society wants. This is what society wants to promote, and this is what the mindset they want in every heart and soul of people in America. You know, and let's be honest with y'all. When they always talk about pushing individualism, they tell you say they want to even control you even more, because what outcomes can you get? What society you can produce and get when there's individualism rampant? You don't get nothing. You don't get nothing done. The only people that they push that to a very large pool of Black people, and they a very small pool of non-Black people, i.e., Caucasian people, whereas Indians, Asians, etc. But know this: when it's time to operate in a group and get stuff done, they know how to formulate like a Voltron. So when they preach this bullshit, it's only to us. Sorry to say that, because Black people, we don't operate enough as a group enough to really get real things done. We always think about, if I made it, you can make it too. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you? Why you can't do what I do? This stupid shit. You get me?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Because remember, capitalism produces producers and consumers, and there is no in between. Either you're this side or that side. So, yeah. So let me see what's on this tape. I'm gonna stop this. I think I'm not playing the rest of this, but I just want to know where it ends.
All right, that's going to put us into the rebuttal round. The rebuttal rounds will be 4 minutes per. So we left off with Brother J.I. Lady Topaz, 4 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger.
And this is the last scene of this. I'm not playing. After 4 minutes, I'm probably gonna be done with this.
To the rebuttal round.
Okay.
No, I'm only gonna be done with this. This playback.
Okay, so you mentioned science fiction. Well, actually, what I'm talking about would that's just only one option of what would happen. But the thing that's the closest to science fiction would be, all of a sudden, if men didn't have to pay any money, that women would just, all of a sudden click, wise up, and now all of a sudden start choosing men that have more money and assets and resources. I mean, there's a subset of women already doing that. They get called the gold diggers, but they don't care because they're getting a check every month and the man isn't there anyway. And so in terms of a moral argument, right? So you brought up rights to her body. Well, here's the thing. in the past, since we're talking about that, right? We're talking about abortion rights. In the past, a married woman used to have to ask her husband's permission before she could get any abortions. Okay, that and so a lot of married men, if they couldn't afford yet a fourth and fifth child, they did go ahead and give permission. You know, all of these things were put in place to manage the children for married couples. This was never meant to be used for single people. So this usually, you want to take out the morality, but it was, in fact, all of this was even created because of morality. What I think that you're doing, you're literally showing that you don't care about morality, but you don't understand it either. Because for you to say that you want financial abortion to be a thing, you're not even targeting the same men. You're targeting, you're using the argument of men who are sad and wanted to have their child. You're using their argument for men who never even wanted to have their child. And when you're talking about rights to her body, I said both people should be choosing who they have children with. I'm not disagreeing with you that women need to choose men that are more financially stable, but they also need to choose more men that are emotionally stable, that are mentally stable, to have more children with. That, you know, I got a lot of other things that I think that we need to do about our choices and who we get pregnant or allow to impregnate us. So to be honest with you, I think that I understand your frustration, but I don't think it's going to get you the equality that you seek, because it's not even targeting the same people. The argument is all over the place from what I can hear. So both people are supposed to be choosing who they have children with. And it's not going to just be women will start then saying, oh, I need to get men who are rich. If it was that easy to do that, then you'd have more, all rich men would have like a bunch of kids and poor men wouldn't. So what exactly are you saying? You're going to get a lot of men who are upset now at women who, you know, won't even talk to them, won't date them, won't marry them, won't sleep with them if they don't have 6 and 7 figures. And that's a whole nother argument that's happening as we speak, is it not? So it doesn't seem like this is grounded in real current reality of what's going on between both genders, how men and women are interacting with each other. This sounds like you thought of something that sounded good one day and decided to put it in a petition and thought that men were going to just champion behind you. But when they sit down and they listen to what you're saying, they aren't going to be, a lot of them aren't going to be on the bandwagon with this when they find out what it really means. And if you don't care about morality, then why use a petition? Why not just, I don't know, like sneak a plan B into a smoothie the next day? Why do you even need a petition to do any of this kind of stuff? So you're still acting according to the law. Why not just break the law then? You know, you don't care about morality. So you want to pick and choose morality. This is getting further and further away from getting you equality to women who want to have abortions. And then if you got a woman that is willing to go out and get an abortion like that, you're also not targeting the right group of women. A woman who's cool with going to get an abortion, that's not who you're going to target with this. You're going to be targeting the women who would have wanted to have their kid, who would have found a way by any means if the dude just didn't pay for it. And also, child support and visitation are separate issues. So if the guy doesn't have money, but he's still involved in a child's life, she can't just take away his rights to parenting.
All right.
4 minutes on the clock. Brother J.I., pull the trigger. This is the rebuttal.
All right, let me walk this back. She said, why use a petition if I don't care about
that
morality?
right there, I think, is what pissed me off.
That again, she's confusing morality.
Yeah, you see, now you see where it is? See
yeah, he was real condescending, and I'm like, we having a conversation. And I also didn't like the fact that he's like saying I'm confusing morality and legality and all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, I know exactly what those words. Like, that chat was extremely petty, and I just was like, okay, you know, this was supposed to just be here for fun. It's not like we handing out any money or trophies or anything like that. And even so, okay, you didn't like my argument, but I just, you know, I felt like for them to call me the emotional one, like it was a pejorative, then what was all of that in the chat? Because I don't remember one time hearing something on those debates that I didn't agree with and then just riding the panelists. Like, some of these people just get way too invested. You hear a debate and you don't like what they're saying. Why do I have to be all of these negative names? I saw people getting timed out in the chat too. So, you know, I know I said I was going to go back and look
against you. They were saying some sick
yeah,
shit.
they were saying all kinds. They were saying all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing: I said that I was going to go back and look and type. I'm not doing all of that, because for what? It's over. What difference does it make? He won. I'm not gonna go back like this is why I didn't. For what? The point is, I chose to get out of character. I did. I made a choice. It is what it is. He won the debate. I already knew that was gonna happen. So I'm not gonna keep arguing with this dude back and forth with that. Like he has his petition. I'm not going around creating the opposite petition like stop JI, you know? So I mean it is what it is. But I think that's the point right there where I decided, you know what? I'm not doing it. And then also at some point throughout the debate, he was like going over the time. Like when the time would beep and he would still keep talking or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so he's just not gonna follow none of all right, cool. That's at that point I lost interest. I just gotta be honest. I did. I lost interest. So I didn't want to hear nothing else he had to say. And I did. I did those actions and I'm not sorry. So it is what it is.
With legality. Okay? Legality equals what's lawful and what's unlawful. Morality equals what a person believes to be right or wrong. These are not the same thing. Okay? It's not the same thing at all. So when I say I don't care about the morality of it, I don't care if somebody feels that it's bad or that you shouldn't walk away. I don't care about that. Legality determines what someone can or cannot do. She brought up the past about women having to get permission from their husbands. We don't live in a day and age where women have to get permission anymore. She's talking about the days of old. Okay, those days are gone. Women can do what they want. They're very clear that it's their body, their choice, and I actually agree with that part. But the part that they leave out is men do not have a choice, and that's the part that I disagree with. Okay, whenever a woman says "my body, my choice," what's silently being said, okay, is that men do not deserve a choice, and that is fundamentally wrong. If we look at the law, when women have these rights legally, that's why they had to fight for Roe v. Wade, because they used to not have them. Okay, which is why my issue is with the legality of it, and why I made a petition, because everything else gets attention. If an issue gets enough attention, then it starts building momentum, and people start getting behind it, and then eventually, sometimes it takes a very long time, it leads to change. That's what happened with Roe v. Wade. A bunch of women were upset that they didn't have the rights over their bodies. They complained about it, all right, and then eventually enough traction was put behind it to where they were able to win in court and gain those rights. It takes a long time, but that's how the legal system works. So you're talking about why don't I just sneak plan Bs and stuff? That's nonsense. That's ridiculousness. All right, I'm talking about men having rights to legally do what women already have the right to legally do, and it would make things equal. Okay, then you keep talking about this high value, this men making money. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if a man makes $1 million or if a man makes $10. That has nothing to do with the rights that he should have under the law. A man that's rich or poor should have the same rights under the law, just like a woman who's rich. Rich women have abortions and poor women have abortions. They may have them for different reasons, but I don't care. They have the right to do it. So that was just a convoluted argument. I don't even know what bearing that had on anything, because I'm not speaking to women making better choices. Let me be clear. I do not care about these choices, these bad choices that women are making. I care that they have the right to make them. Okay? I'm not trying to make women be better. I believe that if men were to get financial abortion, that the consequence of that would be women making better decisions, because all decisions are just based upon the consequences. So if a woman knows that she has nothing to gain financially from the man or from the state, yeah, she's going to be wiser with her body. But I'm not trying to do this to force them to be better. I want equality under the law. That's the only part she keeps leaving out. She keeps leaving that out, talking about things I'm not talking about and I don't care about, quite frankly. I want equality under the law. Men deserve rights over when they choose to become a father. Period. The best way that I see this to be implemented is to give them financial rights, because I don't want them to be able to force, like you said, when a husband had to get permission from, when a wife had to get permission from her husband to get an abortion. I don't want women to be subjugated to men. I want true equality. I believe if we had true equality under the law, it would fix the majority of these issues. Plain and simple.
Okay.
I think we're rapid fire. This will be good.
All right.
I'm not sure what. Let me Let me mute myself, see where this goes. Tell me if you hear it in the background.
If I hear what in the background?
No, I'm gonna play it, see where it continues, and I'm gonna stop the thing. So tell me if you hear something.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh, good. You can hear it. All right. You hear me?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. All right. I think this is where you and him go to some what it calls some other part, which I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna stop. Oh, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
stop.
that's the rapid fire, and I
Yeah,
think
I'm
that's the
not.
part that we're. I think that's the part we're breaking down this weekend because
Yeah.
and I know it, and I understand that. So it is what it is.
Mhm. Well, like I said, at least you got a good, clear picture of what you did not really listen. Cause remember, we missed everything the first time because we get emotional, or we just don't like
Right.
certain people say. But nonetheless, it gives you some decent content when you do your fourth quarter talk or for the record talk with the group. Let me
And
see
you
what's in
know
the
what else, Chaos?
yeah,
I
yeah.
made it. I don't know when I came up with this idea, but ever since I started going on panels, I made it a personal point not to go back and listen to the replay. And the reason for that is because I feel like it's done. What's done is done. If it's something important, somebody will bring it up. If it wasn't, oh well, we get to move on. That way, I feel like I'm not gonna keep rehashing the same thing. I'm not gonna keep trying to make people care when they heard me say it the first time. So I don't go back and listen to the replays because I know my personality. So I just leave it there. But if somebody else plays it and they want to talk about it, I'm perfectly fine with that. So I just didn't go back and listen to it.
All right, let me see.
Oh, well, Sir Anthony, so what did you think? Because I know, I was loud. I get it. And that's not who I
Because the
normally
first
am
time he
until
mentioned before. Last night
I'm
was
in a bad mood.
yeah. First time I saw you. I mean, she said the first time that I saw her in action. Good. Next
Right.
question. Oh no, my fault. I missed one. One problem that I have is that many of these arguments are made with adults in mind, not even considering the possibility of teenagers and pregnancy. And to add on to
That's
that,
true.
Sir Anthony, teenage pregnancy is obsolete now in the 21st century. If you look at the average
Well,
percentage,
okay, but Chaos, but he brought up a good point though. It is almost obsolete. It's still out there, okay. But I think the point that I like that he said that is because we are making all of these choices with adults in mind because adults are supposed to be the example. So, in my opinion, if in a perfect world, teenagers would not be having sex because adults would have picked people that they want to have kids with, and they would actually raise kids so that in their teen years they have self-esteem and something else to do other than sit around and get people pregnant or get pregnant. So that's why I don't do it. But I fully know, and it's in the back of my mind, when I'm talking about it, that this is gonna also. And then here's another thing: if teenagers get pregnant, the guardians are gonna be the ones that's making all these decisions anyway. So I get what he's saying. I completely understand that. It's just for right now, it doesn't do us any good to talk about the teenagers getting pregnant because they're actually doing, they're the ones that's not having all of these kids.
Yes. And last night was my first time hearing about the brother Jai. Well, it's not the first and last time I hear about this brother. He only comes around when women around are present.
Yes, I knew it, and I knew he was gonna do that. I knew he was gonna pull that.
Yeah. As you
So I
know,
mean, it is.
as
I'm not even mad at him. I just was like, oh God. And you know what? And how is he gonna act like he's tired of having to say the same thing over and over again when he literally seeks out women to say this too? Like nobody didn't tell you to come and have no debate. You just popped up because you wanted to yell at me, and that's all fine. But don't be acting like you tired of saying it. Like
good.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
And
Like,
and here and don't worry, yes, Sir Anthony, she's on YouTube. Don't worry. Yeah, to go back to my channel. I have her on interview with her links to her channel and to the for the record. So just go back. You'll find it when I had her.
thanks, Kayla.
Yeah. As you know, we have D Darrell. I did
Oh,
send out the
thanks,
link.
D. Darrell. Hey, I didn't
Hey,
even know if you was able to catch it. I know you've been
oh,
busy, so I didn't know if you got a chance to see it.
wait. I have some better. The link is in the chat room for people that want to come up, have their thoughts and opinions. And look who's here.
Oh, hey, Deidre.
Hey, Queen, how you doing?
Yeah.
What's
I'm
up?
all
What's
right.
up,
How you
Chaos?
doing?
No,
And I
no,
ain't forgot
Deidre.
about that part two, Deidre.
Yeah,
I
we
still gotta get
gotta-
a part two.
Yeah, we gotta.
Deidre has never came onto my channel till now, and I appreciate it. Let me give it a clap.
I do watch you, man. I watch you a lot. I just don't come on.
Okay.
I watch you from the clouds.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but this is my first time coming on the panel, and this is what I gotta say about the stupid notion of a financial abortion. See, we gotta quit looking at ideologically what you think sound good as far as it being practical. How are you going to police and implement this into law? And I actually argued with JI on this topic about a year ago, less than a year ago. And the issue with him coming up with the financial abortion is that the fact of where's the money that you're going to have to invest to get this, to make this into law? How are you going to convince politicians? Now, are you aware that dumbass petition he had about 8 months ago, 8 or 9 months ago?
He still got it. He still got it.
That nobody signed.
Oh, I saw some people sign though.
No, but I mean,
okay.
Okay, Topaz, I give you like what, 30 people that may have signed it.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. I didn't know. How do you get to see how many people signed it?
I mean, I'm just saying, but nobody really signed it. Nobody supported it.
Because you're right. The politicians are like, okay, but when we make y'all pay child support, I get paid, nigga. I'm not. Why would I do
exactly.
that?
He don't understand the economics behind bringing things into law and so forth. So that means that you are going to tick off a bunch of people, men and women, that may not even agree with this, but mostly women. And so my thing is that idealistically, in some ways, the financial abortion, it can make some sense, okay? But practicality wise, it makes no sense because it's not practical. And what it's going to actually do is going to make things worse. It's not going to make anything better. And so, like, I argue with JI on this stuff, and the guy would jump on. I don't know if you all listen. I don't, Chaos. I never seen you over there by BMT's channel a lot, but you know, me and BMT.
I'll be over there. I listen to BMT.
No, because BMT is on another channel, and I'm not going to say right now. Y'all know what's going
on. Well, we argued with this dude about this financial abortion stuff. I want to say around May or June of last year, he came up with this, and he would go from panel to panel, even if the topic wasn't about financial abortion or child support. He would bring this goddamn topic up over, and he just made it his business to go around the manosphere bringing this shit up. And we had knockdown dragouts, literally going each other neck about this, and how I'm like, brother, you can come around here and do this, brother. You have no network to start off. You have no network.
But true.
You have no means of getting anybody to listen to you. I mean, you have no money because you was on YouTube 12 hours a day doing this. So obviously you got to be lacking financially somewhere if you invest in that much time. I'm just being honest. Like these dudes, like, man, guys, y'all gotta quit. Like, I'm like, man,
I'm glad a man is saying it. I'm glad a man is saying it, because if I say it, I'm just bitter. I'm just trying to gaslight. I'm delusional. So at least if it comes from a man, then it means something, you know?
He argued the hell out of I think it was Mahogany Boots that argued, that had a debate.
MJF.
Yeah, she had a debate with him.
But he had a debate with Bap about this on Prophet of Thought channel.
It was Babs.
They had a real set up debate.
Yeah, it was Babs. I'm sorry, it was Babs. He had a debate, and the bottom line is that Babs is a cool person, but Babs not a debater. She not built for that. She just not. Okay, I'm not saying she
calm and relax. She's not gonna get all into that.
Yeah,
she don't.
Yeah, she's not into saying things with conviction and so forth. My thing was this, man, and I told this dude, man, like, this is. I'm like, guys, This is an example of people living in a bubble, and they're repetitively living in this bubble where they confuse reality with with what's in the bubble. And they and in his mind, he really thinks that he can, even though he has not taken one tangible step to do so, that he can put this out in the public, in media, and make it happen. And it's not. Matter of fact, let me just say this. Because see, what I
Yes,
argued with
sir,
him,
Anthony, that was my biggest issue. I like that. That made me yell at him. That made me just say, "Fuck debate rules," because I'm like, but you are missing the fact that that is a child now. You know, like say something that prevents that from happening, and then we could talk.
The way I argue with him on the financial abortion is that you don't have the means to make it into law. So why are you coming up with an idea that would never come into fruition? How are you, number one, how are you going to raise the money? How are you going to convince politicians to push it? Who's going to support you? I hope you don't think the manosphere going to do it, because half of these Negroes broke. And I'm like, like, how are you going to from the procedures of turning a bill into a law and so forth? How are you going to make that happen, J.I.? And he had no answer for that. So I'm like, if you have no answer to just bringing up an idea and just thinking people just going to pick it up, no, that's not how bills and ideas become law. You know what people do when they want to change laws? They have some money. And you know what they do with that money?
You have to play to somebody's morality. I mean, he wanted to take morality and emotion out. That's fine if he can within himself say that he don't care about all that. But when you're writing this in a petition, you can't put that in there. Everything is moved by either money or playing to somebody's sensibilities. I'm sorry, he does not have the finesse skill. And then tell me, Desiree, right? Can you just make somebody, you give them one sentence and say, vote on this, yay or nay? I'm not going to tell you none of the operational stuff until you say yes.
Because he had no operational. That's the thing. He has no body of work. He has no research. He has nothing that these people do to create. Like, say, for instance, a lot of times, a lot of field research, social research is gathered before people decide to change laws or adjust. You have nothing tangible, nothing from a statistical standpoint. All you're going to come and tell people, well, my red pill ideology is the reason why.
Yeah, he gonna shame people. You don't believe in morals, but you gonna shame them into saying yes. You gonna tell them they not red pill enough. They ain't gonna give a fuck. What if you meet the person that's black pill and they don't care? They don't care about you calling them not red pill enough.
Exactly. I'm like, and this is the dumb shit that I really believe you. If you take J.I. out of his element, and we put him in an environment of politicians or business people that can influence and do some things, he will talk exactly and embarrass himself just like he does on YouTube. I guarantee you. And they will look at him like he's stupid.
And I was gonna say this. I was gonna here's the thing, right? So Chaos knows, right? So Desiree, you got to come over For the Record this weekend because we're gonna break down the part where I lost it. I'm sure that's what we finna talk about, right? So here's my issue.
I missed that part. I'm gonna have to go check the replay. I missed that part.
Oh yeah. I got real
kind of
petty.
Figured you were because I saw the chat towards the end. I saw the chat and I figured something happened, but I missed that part because I was in and out.
Yeah, man. They lit my ass up, but it's all right because I fully deserved it and I ain't care. I did it on purpose and I'm not sorry because he pissed me off. So here's the thing. Right, he's going around with this petition that is not formulated. It's like what happens when you know somebody never took a honors English class. They're not writing an APA format, right? So he's going to go around with this petition, and what it's saying to people, that unbeknownst to him, is, hey, we black men don't want to pay for our kids. Please, government, tell them that we don't have to get them no money, and then complain about how the government is too involved and the government gives everything to women. Is this a good look for black men, for him going around with this?
Man, it's embarrassing, and it's going to tarnish an already messed up image. It's going to make it worse.
But let's be honest. Since Topaz talk about image, right now, a lot of black men try and separate themselves from the so-called bums, the pookies, black men. Now, imagine men of saying they are doing something and they are financially responsible or they're a man of means. Start talking this. Now it gives very much a black eye to a lot of black men in all demographics, especially in America. It shows that sure we still want the sex and want the child, but we don't want to pay for it. That's the message you're posing once they hear shit like this in certain sectors of YouTube. It pushed the notion that, well, you saying that these groups, these men that you try to separate from are the ones that's impregnate the community, but lo and behold, now you're talking about you don't want, if you do knock home, you don't want to pay for it. So what's going on? You're confusing the women that already has a notion of this so-called propaganda that's can't spill about black men when they hear this from this one particular black man. Do y'all follow me?
Yeah.
I hear you on that, but it's this shit is. I'm just gonna say, man, the financial abortion concept is dumb. This is the bottom line. It's stupid. It's just stupid, man. And only in this space will people acknowledge some dumb shit. Like I'm just sorry. It sounds stupid. It sounds stupid. So what you're telling me? Let's look at this for what it is. So what you're telling me is that you knowingly entered a female raw, unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout to Raw Sex.
Hold on. Knowing the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
And because she decided to have the child, you feel like you have equal say-so in deciding not to have the child or whatever. No, you made that, you gave that up the minute you didn't protect yourself.
Exactly. Wealthy men protect their sperm. They don't just leave their sperm sitting out on the corner hoping somebody walk up and take it. You know, like they protect it. They have their sperm with like, you know, pit bulls, snipers, a moat, and like a 6-foot thick wall, you know, metal wall of a safe. Like you ain't getting to their sperm if they got something to lose. I'm sorry.
And see, to me, what the financial abortion is a concept that mirrors the lack of a group of men who want to impose their will on women not to have rights to make decisions for themselves. That's basically what this is. This is just an example of that, because internally they have never naturally been in relationships where women treated them in a manner in which they felt they were supposed to be treated. So this is a way of, I'm gonna get back at your black ass because you treated me bad in this other relationship and this and that. I'm gonna get back at you. You didn't listen to me. You didn't do this. This is the same man who called little 13-year-old bitches. When we talked about the Cuties movie and stuff, he called them little bitches and disrespecting little bitty girls. Told them that they knew better, that not to mess with grown men, that it was the kids' fault, not the grown. So when you got grown men saying ignorant stuff like that, you get no respect from me. You know, I can't have an intellectual debate with ignorance. You know, and you know, so you got to look at the basis of why they say this stuff, and that's why I had to leave the space. Because what I found myself doing is just arguing with people who don't understand the relationships and the dynamics between women and men, and they don't understand what a functional relationship look like. So no matter how much sense you make,
let me ask
they're
you
gonna
something
continue
too.
to do that.
And let me ask you this too, Darrell, right? As a man, right? I'm trying to figure out how is it that like, and what are they trying to get me to understand is the reason? Because most reasonable people would say, because all of the male friends that I've ever had, when they homeboys come back, they homeboys need to be saying, man, I fucked up. I know I did wrong. I know I should have. Versus coming over there like that bitch stole my sperm. You know, how do you fix your mouth as a man to say some woman took your sperm without your permission? I'm trying to figure out the like what is the environment that's happening?
That's illogical. That is so. And
exactly.
You know what
how does she get it? Well, because I mean, don't you literally have to be wanting to be there for her to be able to get, for there to be any sperm for her to get?
Exactly. But you know what he'll do in his messed up mind, what he'll do is bring up some shit that happened on social media with he'll bring up some shit like, oh, Cardi B said she drugged black men and she could have,
I said the same thing.
they'll bring up some uh anecdotal,
Obscure ass,
yeah,
one
it's
off
some
ass.
1 in a million type thing where some female may have date rape drugged the guy and took the sperm or did this. That's the kind of stuff that's reaching and that's not necessarily typical in a relationship. Give me another
And I'm gonna
example.
say this, Deidre, as a woman, if some woman date rapes you, if she gives you like ketamine or something, right, and she takes your sperm, you need to prosecute her ass to the fullest of the law. Or if
Exactly.
you are a person that don't want to go in the court, have your female cousins wear her out. Let her know that this was a bad decision, and then you take the child so that she gets nothing. There needs to be a consequence for that because the men are stronger. Like, I understand women get scared, they don't want to face their accuser, but then those women don't keep talking about it. They go off and hide somewhere. They don't want everybody to know. But if men are going to keep talking about it, then you, as a grown ass man, need to make sure she understands the gravity of that decision and that she knows not to play with you like that. I don't understand. Why would you let her just get away with it?
Right. But again, these are guys, you're speaking in logic. And when you're dealing with people that don't speak logic, what you're saying makes no sense. I already know what happened. When you was in that debate, you had a bunch of people probably calling you names or saying different stuff about you being a female and this and that in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
He was saying
Yeah, that's what happened.
pandering. He was saying all this pandering, red pill mess, and they was all cheering him on, thinking, "Oh, he telling her." I'm like, this. I've been there already, man. I
But it's
decided
not
not to
even
let
red
X
pill,
make.
because red pill is you knowing that you can't just be getting in situations where women can take your sperm. Red pill is you knowing that there are some women out there that if you got some money, that you need to protect that. And so a red pill dude, in my opinion, wouldn't be in no predicament like that. He's gonna have on a condom. He might even have on 2 condoms if he gonna still be out there fucking with chicks that he don't want to have a baby with. A
But you
red
got
pill
to,
dude, in my opinion, would be like, some chicks can't get this.
but you fit. But this is what you're missing on this, Topaz.
Okay.
You gotta
Okay.
understand the pattern of behavior that's really ingrained in them that led them to be red pill in the first place. They were simps.
Ah.
They ain't gonna stop being simps overnight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ooh,
You gotta
Okay,
understand.
that makes sense. It's like that don't
Did you
just go
listen to
away
the
just because you
stories? Did you
know.
listen to all the stories of how she took my money and she did this and
Yeah.
I took her
Yeah,
to
and
go
I
to a.
actually feel bad for them because, see, here's the thing. I'm over here telling women
I
don't be
don't.
doing men like that, but then they yell at me and tell me, why don't you speak out? Because when I do, y'all yell at me and tell me I'm wrong. Y'all tell me to shut up and then ask me why I don't say nothing. Like,
It's like you gotta understand. These are guys that women took advantage of for a variety of reasons.
mm-hmm.
It could be social awkwardness, lack of intelligence, mainly looks, and just lack of swag. And another thing,
And
some of
that's
these
messed
guys.
up. Like, just because the dude ain't got no swag, you don't get to just, like, I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I would be just as angry with women. Like, no woman can't just walk up to me and be like, girl, he was nerdy, so I just decided to run his pockets. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's not right. But see, the thing about it is these guys, because of them looking at merely, like I said, they simps, merely looking at physicality, nothing else, they will overlook all of that just to chase some ass. And they don't care
I said
what.
that too.
And the thing about it, these are the consequences. So when you have had multiple situations where women ran your pockets, the child support, this and that, and you don't never look at yourself as being the problem as far as your vetting or you using problem solving, skills to make better decisions. You just going with the flow, just trying to, just to have a woman. This is going to be the outcome. And so what you find is somebody just said, you went to your computer. Let me go check on YouTube how I can handle it and correct my situation. So you type in black man getting messed over by black women, and bam, you see red pill 109
Videos.
talking crazy shit,
Videos.
and you like, damn, he's speaking to me. damn, I could really use, and you see a PUA talking about this and that, and then somebody else saying this, damn, I feel like I can use this. These people understand who I am. Do you understand how invigorating it is to the psyche of somebody that went through that, and somebody validating what they went through because they had the same thing? This is the process. This is what the manosphere is made of. There are a lot of guys that did that. Exactly what I stated. They went to the internet and in YouTube after having bad breakups, bought a chick a car and she left them the next week, helped the chick with her rent and she don't want to deal with you no more. Or the girl had a 90-day rule and after the 90 days she left you. You know, this is the kind of shit these guys go through. And then when they hit a place in which they feel frustrated, they can't take it no more, they find refuge in these spaces. And they find refuge in these spaces and people telling them similar experiences, you know, they start they trauma bonding with each other. And you know, it's like to me, AA meetings are like Trump to me. Just people just saying just all this stuff. And it's just what this shit remind me of, you know, and that's the mindset of these guys. I've been in this space since 2015, 6 years, and don't you know, most of the content has not changed. If you look at videos from 3-4 years ago, it's gonna have different titles, but it's talking about the same shit.
You want me to give you an answer why it has not changed, Darrell?
Huh?
Because there's an old saying: if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
A lot of people that come around and listen to, and I'm gonna say it's just to divert what y'all saying right now. I know there are young men and eventually young women, from what you did in your upload today, Darrell, that we're gonna have an atmosphere of Gen Zs that's now just turned 20 now, or might have turned 20 2 years ago, that's going to depict the same behaviors and what has taught them and what their upbringings are is YouTube. And this is the danger. This is me now.
Yeah, like Psycho King. I did a video on them.
Yeah. Let me get this out. This is the dangers when parents fail to play an integral role in their children's development, period. Because there's no way in hell, if we had son and daughters, we do enough as possible to not only protect them, but to teach and counsel them what they're really watching. Because to sit there have one young dude that's maybe flamboyant at best, possibly, to sit there and say that this spear for the last 6 years taught me is telling. Because when I look at him being almost a teenager at that time, the master was around a little bit longer, but the black master separate from the white master has only been around for 6 years. So from what he has got his understanding of how the world functions and works in his reality, he got all that through YouTube. The same way that these young girls are getting their understanding of the world and their perception of reality for YouTube, especially women that are teaching quote unquote femininity. And I'll be as person, if you're a young girl and you're in a certain age and you don't know how it is to conduct yourself like a woman, your mother has really failed you. Just like if your father didn't play an integral role in your life as a boy, become a man. So now you're gonna be scammed by a lot of YouTubers. You know the people I'm talking, even from the Michaela Blackpinks and many other people that are showing reveal of criminal activities. That this is expected, and you have yourself to blame because you gave all your time and energy to people that you just don't fucking know.
Right.
You know? But remember, this is an outlet for, to be honest with you, poor people. YouTube. If I want to really be honest, it's an outlet for poor people. No, you laugh. This is serious. Because
I get what you said.
The things we put out, and mind you, my content could be a little bit better. I could say that, but like I said, I'm a podcaster. I'm not doing videos like that. Well, let's say if I do that, it's very questionable what I put on my own channel. You get me? Because there is outcomes that is going to come out of this. You get me? But when people set a certain audience and a certain outcome and a certain message that they keep constantly restructuring every year after year, this is the outcome they want to hope and pray what they produce through this media outlet we call YouTube. So with these pills, these manospheres, whatever you want to call it, the outcome they want is a set of boys that's gonna become men to look and view not only themselves but women in a different light, and look at women as something bad, negative, evil, particularly the Western woman, aka the American woman. And mostly the woman that they talk about, focus the most, is this black bitch that they talk about. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Every other woman, the energy is divert. Just like some sisters, they'll talk about this black Negro, this nigga. But when it's to the opposite, different race, the energy changes. Why? Because we already indulge and program to look ourselves as less than worth. So when we look at YouTube, is an escapism to really find some answers that they're not getting in the comfort of their own backyard. And that's a problematic thing for a lot of our young people. You know, we should not be having young people talking about, especially the girls leveling up, or the dudes talking about they're in rage. I said, you're fucking 20-something years old. You don't know what the fuck rage is, boy. You know? Matter of fact, they told you a lie that there's no racism. And if you're at an age where you don't see race or don't think about it, you are already behind the 8 ball. You think this world has changed because you've only been around it for less than just a generation? You have a lot more learning to do. That's why I advocate most young people. They not only understand what they watch and see, but they have to really go outside their environment, really, to get a real grasp of reality. Because being cooped up and seeing what the world works for YouTube or any other media outlet that we don't control is very much frightening and dangerous. So that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you, Topaz.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think about the women who are quote unquote teaching femininity classes?
Well, I mean, I think that I understand where they're coming from, but here's the thing. Like, unless they actually understand what it means, what I see is that there are a lot of people out there doing it and they don't truly understand what it means. It's like kind of a bastardized version of what they think men want to hear. And so it does come off as not genuine because it's not. It's an energy that is either within you or you don't have it. And you can create that energy through practice and effort. It's not going to be something that you can book 3 sessions and then all of a sudden you're on your way. You know,
exactly.
I think a lot of the women that are doing it are getting caught out there and they don't understand why it's not coming off as being felt as genuine. And it is because you are telling people to do something that they have not made their insides match to. You're telling them it's an outward action. You're looking, we measure femininity about what we can see, but we also can see when a person has an internal conflict. We can see cognitive dissonance. It makes it where your actions and your micro expressions don't add up. So it's like how we know when somebody lying but can't really explain it to somebody else. So I think there's a lot of people out here that don't know what they're doing, and it's coming off as messed up. And then they're not answering the question right because they're pandering to an outside audience. In other words, I see a lot of women who are teaching women what to do in order to make the man think that you're feminine, but she's not actually feminine. So it comes off as a hustle.
So my issue with that, this is the issue I have with the femininity coaches and so forth, is that, and I'm not going to say names, but there's ton of people who are in the femininity business that find themselves acting in unfeminine ways on panels that they're not putting their own concepts to practice.
But it goes back to get derailed. It's
no, but I'm just saying, like how are you going to teach? I'm just saying, like if you're going to say I'm teaching you how to be feminine, okay, which is great. To me, really, it's more about social etiquette and so forth and relationship etiquette. But when you find, because my thing is this, a feminine woman, which women to me are naturally feminine, they're going to be feminine in all aspects of their life, even in disagreements. That just because you mean that all of a sudden, if you're in arguments or different conflicts, you all of a sudden are going to act a totally different manner? No, you're going to basically approach that conflict in a feminine manner. But what I'm saying is that there are people teaching things, and then when they find themselves in certain issues, they're acting the total opposite of what they're teaching.
And here's my issue with that.
Social modeling is important.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say. So it goes beyond etiquette. Like the etiquette and the manners, that's nice to know. But if you still are masculine, you're practicing the etiquette and manners with the mind frame of getting, of it being a masculine result that you're expecting. So to me, I feel like, first of all, we need to understand that the masculinity and the femininity is a continuum. And so women are more feminine. They might be like 80%. You're going to still have some parts of masculinity because that's how we relate. That's how you know what you're dealing with. But that 20% is going to pale in comparison to his 90%. And so then you're going to realize what you're dealing with, and then you're going to back down and sit down somewhere. So I'm not saying that you'll never get loud if you're feminine. It's what you're getting loud about. It's what you're saying when you're getting loud. It's what you do next. It's a whole big picture. So I'm never going to tell a woman that you're never going to have any argument, because women argue all of the time. To me, I feel like it's how you argue and what you argue about and what you're saying when you're arguing that determines the femininity. Now, you also have to be a woman that's not out here looking for arguments and constantly in arguments.
Right.
Like you, and then in my opinion, a feminine woman does just enough to survive the argument, and she backs out of there, and she makes sure that she's putting herself in places, because you know why? Because it's aversive. It's unhappy to be in that type of mode and emotion all of the time.
Right.
Once you get women that enjoy that and they look for it and they're excited about it, that's not feminine. That's not what a woman would want to do. Because a woman that thinks feminine has other things that she needs to be doing that day to make her happy that's not going to line up with that. So you'll definitely be able to tell. You may not be able to explain it to other people, but you'll be able to feel and tell if the woman is feminine or not.
Great. Good answer. I appreciate that. But I just wanted to bring that about because this is one of the biggest issues that I have in YouTube, period, is people selling certain products. Really? Huh?
No, let's keep talking.
Okay, is that people
look at this picture?
No. Just for distraction purpose only.
Okay.
Now, we all know that when men talk about keep as natural as possible, makeup should only be an extra enhancement. But when I look at, and I didn't know about this chick until the whole
Me too.
YouTube went crazy over it. When I look at this, okay, she looked decent in this. Boobies. Face looks okay. But when I saw this, I say, oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on, but that's not fair, man. That's a mugshot. Come on, man. I think she look a little better.
Bro. Listen, even a mugshot, some chicks will look decent. This chick, it's like this. D. Darrell, and keep real. Would you love to wake up one day next to this, or to this? To this? Look at this, nice and pretty.
but you who wakes up? Nobody wakes up looking like that.
And you know what's funny about all this? I've known few women, they go to bed with makeup on. And I could tell.
Why?
Why?
Is that healthy? Take care of Topaz?
Who?
Topaz.
Wait, is that what now?
Going to bed with makeup, is that healthy?
No, that clones only a pores. Like, no, that's bad advice. Abort. If clones only a pores, then you got acne, plus you have makeup all over the sheets. That's bad. Who tells people that nobody goes to bed in makeup that cares about their skin?
To be honest,
that's horrible.
To be honest with you, very few women, either not as dark as Michaela Pink, but some women that are darker hue or even her complexion or anybody lighter. There are some women that do put on makeup and go to bed, especially makeup that don't like smudge. But the point is this, why I mention this, is that more than half of sisters feel they look better with the makeup.
Well, the makeup
Like,
is
Just
meant
because
to
they
enhance.
don't make it healthy,
and then
though, that's
when
still a
you
bad
take out
idea.
the makeup. And I sometimes will disagree because, like me, I'm a man, I'm picky. I say if you could keep look natural as possible, it's better, you know. But if you have to constantly wear the what we like to call the clown outfit, you know, paint and all that stuff, then it's a problem. That means not only you don't like what you look, but really truly, some women just don't look that attractive without makeup on. And it is what it is. So, you know, you need that makeup.
But then you need to accept that, though, because here's the thing about self-love. You know, you may not be attractive to whoever it is that you want to try to get, but that's you not being you. So even if you do get this person, you technically didn't get them. Your facade did. So the minute that you like you'll have to commit to living a life of never just being you. And that can be psychologically damaging. So that's
Right.
still like at some point you gotta embrace self-love where you accept who you are when you look in the mirror. Exactly. See, and that's another thing, right? To go to bed with makeup on. First of all, what man is not going to find that ridiculous? And then two, they're gonna ask her to take it off. They're gonna ask her to take it off, which they definitely should. So then, therefore, now when either you're gonna take it off or you're gonna leave him. Seriously, like where are you gonna find a man that's gonna be cool with it?
Well, to be honest with you, I will know what I'm getting into before it gets to that point. If I hold on, let me say this. Me and need to men up here. If I see you in Exhibit A, and I like Exhibit A, but when it comes down to doing the nasty or ready for bed, I see this.
Turn the lights off. Turn the lights off, man. Come on, brother.
That's my man. My man's right. Turn off the lights.
See, but she sees such a big difference between that. To be honest with you, the second picture ain't that bad. She just looked dry. Like she needs to moisturize her hair. She needs to moisturize her skin. Like other than that, it ain't that big a deal. However, you know, she sees a big, huge difference to where she was talking about where she could never let the guy ever see option two. Like her hair look all frizzy. She just you know, she just needs to do some makeup. Like I mean, not makeup, but
really be honest with you, if she just like did something like I guess wash her face and put some do something with her hair and just put a little gloss on, she wouldn't look that bad.
Cocoa butter on your face,
on her lips.
No, put some good.
But if she's going to bed with makeup, she see a big difference. She see that the guy can never see this, and I'm like, what do you see that's such a big contrast? Just moisturize your hair, moisturize your face, and wash your face, and you know, like you're not even lip gloss because you're going to bed. Like they have creams that you can put on your lips, you know, before you go to bed if you're just really concerned about like hydration and whatnot, and it's actually like healthy, like vitamin E tablets or something. You know, like this the fact that she sees such a big, huge contrast is a problem. That is a big internal conflict for her.
But you got to understand, a lot of these women that are in the leveling up and the isn't she like pink pill or something like that? Or leveling up? They're all the same.
Let me tell you something. Because when I checked their YouTube channel, and I think she took down her main channel because it's no longer in existence. I mean, she has a backup one. It looked like from her activities, it looked like she's been having it on since 2018 at most. That's the same time when the term pink pill might have came around, maybe the next year. But
her channel isn't pink pill. That's another lady. She's underneath those girls. She's in the divestment community, but she had a different, like her channel. She's not the pink pill channel. Exactly. I think that's a different one.
Well, she's not like divesting or investing, wherever these chicks want to call it. At the end of the day, if you're not married to that so-called seven-figure millionaire dude, and someone's teaching game how to get a millionaire husband, and find out that you're doing criminal acts and you're a baby mama at best, chances are, when women catch this, young girls, they're gonna say, "Oh, but I used to rock with this chick. Now I find that she's not living what she talks about. I feel like I've been had. I've been scammed. I've been lied.
Scammed. But they all,
exactly. Because she's not living that.
Shira 7 is a scam.
Oh yeah, she a big scammer. You think she got? I didn't want to get into that.
The same person. All of a sudden, you was shopping at the Dollar Tree, and now you talking about we got to go get Louis at Neiman Market. She started off doing
But
Dollar
here's the
Tree.
thing. She's not even a good con artist because, you know, if you are truly good at your con artist game, you're going to like get the money that you need, put it into something that can bring you residual income so you can get out. The goal is to get out and go legit. You don't want to be 40, 50 years old still doing cons. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Facts. See,
So like
that's
she's not even a good con artist. She's doing dumb shit with the money. You not at Louis bag. You know, you drawing a lot of extra dumbass attention to yourself with all of this flashiness, and then you yelling at the people that's cash apping you and stuff. So like she just did a bunch of extra dumbass attention, and this is what that gets. So I mean, you know, now look, now what are you gonna do?
I'm like this, man. If you sit there like I have to question the intelligence, because to me, I'm actually releasing a video tomorrow on my channel where I'm talking about when you look at some of these groups, some of these women sound just like the men, just from a female perspective. And to me, red pill and to me it's no different from man, because they saying stuff, but just from a female perspective. This woman is
Because they
telling,
saying it out of spite, just like I told JI yesterday. This was the issue. No, this was the debate that I had with SKC, the first one. She's saying it out of spite. Because we was talking about SYSBM and MGTOW and all of that.
SKC
like,
came back. He didn't came back from the same person that lied about living in River Oaks but live in Third Ward.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot y'all had that. But look, and his defense wasn't in the chat. Somebody went and got him and told him that I was up there saying that ain't the answer for the community. So
seriously,
somebody went snitch. Like that's what they was doing yesterday. They did me so wrong over there yesterday.
It's crazy. But what I wanted to say was she was telling ladies, like I'm like, okay, yes, there are men who will, especially men of means, if they getting a sugar baby or something like that, they will do things for them and they will spend an exuberant amount of money on them. But to think there's this plethora of men that gonna run around, you can run around just because you look cute, and you meet a guy in 2 days, and then on the third date tell him, well, I need a car. And you think this man, after having a few dates with you, gonna go buy you a $20,000 car? This is the shit she telling these women, that this is like shit that can happen. I'm like, come on, man.
I would be remiss if I didn't say the following. There are men who are going to do that, but they're going to do that if they meet you through a service that has already vetted you, that you're not out here doing crazy shit like this. So she would never get that to happen because she is not on that level. You can't be a bootleg ass. What is it? Something Madison was that site for sugar babies. She gonna be a bootleg ass whatever that site was, and then she gonna go get the money. She's like, and then here's my other problem. She's not even thinking long term about this scam. So at least get the shit where the money is coming in first, and then go do all of that flashy shit, because then you know that if nobody super chats you today, that you can still afford it, that you ain't got to resort to yelling at people. You can keep up the lie. You can keep the lie alive. That's going to take you at least 2 or 3 years before that money's coming in good enough for you to say, oh, I went and bought this business. Now this business is my sugar daddy. And I'm going to just tell y'all that a dude is doing it. Like, at least give me a lie that I can justify believing. Don't give me this thrown together ass lie and play with my intelligence. And now I'm supposed to give you money because of it. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing that.
But she's selling this shit like they got all these. Yeah, there's a small percentage of men that's willing to do that. But
it's more shit that you got to be done before they do
exactly.
it too. You can't
you ain't. I know 6 and 7 figure men, and I know some that got sugar babies for years. But I don't know any of them after meeting somebody for 2 or 3 dates gonna go and buy them a whole car, go buy them an apartment, go do this and go. That shit happen over time. You know what I'm saying? I've seen them do shit like jewelry and clothes and shopping, but as far as going by cars and big purchases, like, are you serious? And she telling these women, and these women in the chat, like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to do this, and I think this can happen to me. And I'm like, this is wishful thinking.
But in her defense, though, I mean, what kind of grown ass person that has lived more than 2 minutes on this earth is really believing this bullshit without requiring you know, any like if you're gonna make an outlandish claim like that, we need to start as a people, we need to start requiring more proof for stuff. I'm
Well,
not saying we gotta be cynical
We
all the
should.
time,
We
but if
should.
something the more outlandish the story is, we need to have more proof.
she told the women, if a man ain't spent at least $2,000 on you, y'all shouldn't be talking about sex.
So the
Wow.
box is worth
Who
$2,000. Like she
is
put a
That,
price
that,
tag
that's
on it. First of all,
what
that's
she
still
said.
cheap.
Who is
That's
this?
still
Who
cheap as
is
hell
this?
anyway. I'm sorry. Like 2,000 for real. You might as
Diddy
well
Rap.
just go and sit out on the side of the street. Just go ahead and, you know, put up a OnlyFans or some shit. Like that's what she talking about. That's OnlyFans type of money. 2,000 for sex. Get the fuck out of here.
She
But they're not
basically,
This is
even
no.
that. Listen,
I'm
hey,
listening.
you have a man
She
like this
said that
book.
if he ain't spending that, then why we shouldn't even be. I'm like, okay, I'm like this, man. Like,
Yeah.
I hope she realized
And
that. Did it ever cross your mind that even if this man is spending money, he ain't necessarily spending the money on you for sex. He may be spending his money on you because he's trying to show you that he can do things. Maybe you want to be with a legit relationship. It just so happened he helping you. Like, it doesn't mean he literally spending his money just to have sex. Like, the
yeah,
dude,
she's selling it essentially because that's what I'm trying to get at. First of
yeah,
all, there are men out there that can drop $2,000 and still won't give a fuck about you. And you got that
exactly.
$2,000 and you did a bunch of shit that now you got to explain to the next nigga because he gonna pass you off to the next nigga that got $2,000. And now you out here for fucking for $2,000. So anybody that got 2 stacks, you now have to do it because that's the box you put yourself in.
And
It's
you
not
ran
supposed to
through.
have a dollar amount. It's supposed to be about a connection and a bond. Like, why is he wanting to sleep with me? Is he trying to
Yes.
take care of me? Or is he trying to sleep with me because I'm like a sex doll to him where I don't mean much after he catch a nut? Like, I mean, she's putting herself in that box where, oh, it's 2,000 for a nut, and then you're gonna do all of this extra stuff, and it's gonna be so amazing. It's gonna be worth $2,000, but it ain't worth a penny more, bitch. You said two
A lot
grand.
of,
Don't ask me for 2,100.
and
Like,
trust
you
me,
know, see,
I've
no.
heard some of these men talk, and they have made women do some dehumanizing shit that I'm even like, man, damn. I'm like, man, I know men that have made women do some embarrassing shit for money. And I'm like,
Right.
man, that's not, I'm like, man, you shouldn't. I don't. I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. That's not. I don't think that's cool to be doing. But there are men that think, yeah, they'll give you the money, but the shit that, like you said, the stuff that you had to do, like I'm talking just some of the out of the bar,
Yeah.
out of the ballpark type stuff. I'm like, damn, like y'all really into that like literally, like just some of the most just like. You have no
And here's the
self-respect.
thing: if you ain't into it, you did it now for the money. Don't that come with a piece of your soul, Darren? Or is it just me?
Yeah, it come with a piece of your pocket because you're willing to do it again.
Exactly. Like
But
it, you know, and then look at Sir Anthony comment. See, this is why when I talk about reparations, I say don't give checks, don't give cash, because you're gonna have a bunch of niggas out here giving the money right back to
right,
Gucci, the Galleria, car dealerships, you know, just dumb shit.
exactly. But I'm just like, man, like I see these women with this stuff and they talk. I'm like, do these women just think men are just? Yeah, I know they do have men that are stupid, but do you think that men just gonna willfully just? I'm looking at it from this standpoint. Men who have shown a great deal of intelligence and wherewithal and so forth, and also known to value and take care of their money. Why would men that
Yep.
have shown to be um, mature and good with money all of a sudden just see you and just lose their whole concept of the value of money, just throw it away for nothing? That just don't make sense to me. Like
Right. And if
they
you're trying to level up, ain't the idea for you to be able to get that lifestyle and keep it? It ain't for you to just hit a quick lick. Like otherwise, you are doing nothing. But you might as well just go ahead and be an escort. You're not leveling up. You're actually leveling down because you're used as a tool now. If a
But
man can
Topaz,
afford to hang you $2,000, he's looking at you as somebody that is worth it to just get a nut and leave. He paying you to go.
but Topaz,
exactly
you gotta think about it, Topaz. That's what it's really leading to already. Think about it. When this pandemic hit, most women that lost their jobs and lost even more jobs in the couple weeks when the job market started to even go more, they start what they call it, firing more people, or they laying out people. That is the reality for the average woman. They are turned into the sex arena. my fans only,
Yep.
even as far as prostitute, because let's be honest, most of the work that the average black woman take on the average is jobs, service work on the average, good as best. So why those things are completely taken away? You're not gonna see a whole bunch of entrepreneur black women or black men anytime soon. So what's the next best thing to get that buck for less effort? You turn to the thing that men already give their energy to, sex. And you get more from the sex aspect of things, whether you open up, bust wide open for one of them, or you just sit there, just give them the illusion or the possibility of sex, some money, you know? And
Right.
let's be honest, it's much easier because look, we have a environment of very much simping dudes. They will throw their money to women that won't even give them the time they to whiff the pussy. You know? So, you know, they develop
Yeah.
this rage, this insecurity, this certain thing that they're entitled something. Well, really, you're not entitled shit as a man. So imagine now most women now that this is the only thing they have just to put food on their own table. They will do it. And here's a side note. All the women that decide to think that they're going to go to my fans only and make money, you're sadly mistaken. You guys still promote yourself. You got to still play the game properly. And if you're not in the sex arena, your chance to make some decent money on it is very slim. There's articles on that as we speak. So, like I said, what this environment has shown to us as people that if we don't get our shit in order, we're going to be scrapping for crumbs. And we're going to do
And you
everything,
know,
anything. And we're doing it already.
what?
That's sure.
And I'm gonna say this, Chaos, and then I gotta go
Yeah,
because it's getting late.
yeah.
Here's my thing. Here's my take on it. My take on this is that even the OnlyFans is still a more reputable hustle than what she's doing is because see, she's lying. The people that go on OnlyFans, they know what they get. And the people that are posting on OnlyFans, they telling you what they offering you, and you click the link and you pay the money and you get what you asked for. You get what you were promised, right? She's telling women to start lying to men. And what does she think that men are going to do in her? Because, you know, every time women come up with a movement, the men adapt and then the women adapt. And then it just keeps snowballing from there. So when she's telling women to go and do this kind of goofy shit, what does she think the men going to do in response? You think they just going to sit there and be okay with it? And be like, oh, damn, she got me. No. Like, they going to come up with another thing.
Yeah, man. Some of these guys will act out violently and do all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, it's a consequence. There's a dark side to that, man. They're just not realistic. And I be hearing these people talking about, nah, you know, like they even some content creators that I know, they listen to them and try to legitimize why they saying this and why you should listen to it and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, this shit is unrealistic and it's just not real. Like you basically hurting young women who gonna ruin the best years of their life chasing money. this was gonna end up happening, you know. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So on this note, any closing thoughts, Topaz, since you've been such a wonderful guest? I think it's the first time we did a YouTube together, right? On my channel, right? I think so. I believe so. Yes. Yes, it is. Topaz? Oh, she's asleep?
Oh, wait, no. Can you hear me now? Because I've actually muted myself. I said, no, you normally do Facebook instead of YouTube.
No, I never did Facebook. I never broadcast on Chaos on Facebook, to be honest with you. Yeah. But
Well, what did you?
Well, we did a call-in show, remember? But we never did one.
Oh, okay.
That's difference. Yeah.
Okay.
But any thoughtful words for people to leave off to pass?
Well, I just think that both of these topics that we talked about today, in my opinion, has to do with grown people not wanting to be responsible. And so I think that I've said in the past that Black people operate like as a whole, us as a culture, we operate like we're teenagers. Like it's cool as long as you don't get caught by the authorities, and that makes it all right. And like we don't have any sense of what we actually believe is right and wrong because that's our identity and that's what we want to put out there to the world and it's what we believe in. Like everything is so surface level and shallow. That is, I think that's the thing that keeps, you know, I think that's what fuels all of the dysfunction that everybody complains about. But I think that's the part that people aren't getting. And that's when I had the most trouble explaining to people that, yes, there is something underneath here. You do need to know why if you're going to ever fix it. And, you know, to not do so is giving up and just signing your rights over to it. So at that moment, you no longer get to complain. I don't understand how people complain about something but don't do anything about it, at least in their one-person abilities. If you give yourself over to it, then that means you no longer get to say anything because you gave up that right when you made that decision.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we don't deal with consequences well as a whole. That's men and women. And we shush anybody that wants to bring it up.
Yeah. Well, in this community, we feel that there is no really actual consequence unless the white man inflicts and instill consequence on us. Well, in regards to our own, no, they look at you and say, nigga, you crazy. You ain't putting no consequence on me. Who's going to check me? Mm-hmm. That's the mindset of the average man and woman in our communities. And, you know, that's the last thing I will say. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this special timely broadcast. You know, I hope y'all enjoyed, learned something. You know, I will say this: there will be no financial abortion anytime soon. You Negroes, if you decide to shoot up the club and knock these women up, let you know so the white man will come at your ass. Mr. Charles will come find your ass and say, I want my money, Negro. I need my money now. You know, and you're gonna pull out your pocket, or he'll go even as mean as getting your license, put you under the jail, all of the above. At the end of the day, when Mr. Charlie wants his money, you know what it is, people. Till next time.